afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for being in the Green Bay Area Public Schools and Southwest High School. I am Mike Whistler, the principal here at Southwest High School, and it is a great honor to be able to host this event. And I'd like to thank the De Pere School District for joining us, as well as the UW system and UW Green Bay. And we are ready to go for the FAFSA, or the free application for federal student aid time. It is that time of the year. So we are ready to go, and our staff are here to help our students here at Southwest. First off, I would like to introduce President Rothman of the University of Wisconsin system. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. Thank you very much, President Whistler. And at wisconsin.edu. And I also want to just encourage, we are right now, students who are in their senior years, who are in high schools that are participating, to be on the lookout. We have our final round of Direct Admit Wisconsin offers that will be going out. These offers will tell you that you have been admitted to at least one of the 13 universities of Wisconsin without even having to apply. They will arrive first by email, and then they will arrive via post. And I'd like to acknowledge Chancellor Alexander, who really started this program as a pilot at UW Green Bay, and has now become Direct Admit Wisconsin, in which 10 of our universities are now participating, and we've sent out over 34,000 acceptance letters already this year. So we're very proud of that. And with that, it is my privilege to introduce UW Green Bay Chancellor Mike Alexander. Mike?
Thanks, President Rothman. Always great to have President Rothman with us here in Green Bay, and to just reinforce what he is saying. So at a local level for UW Green Bay, with our access mission, the federal FAFSA form is so important, we know, to how students are able to access higher education. It's an equalizer. Right? It helps make sure that due to your financial background, your socioeconomic background, that you're not inhibited from being able to advance your education. So I think we want to make sure, as President Rothman mentioned, that you don't know how much money you can get unless you fill out that FAFSA form. It's really important to take the time to do that. It unlocks so many doors just by taking the time to fill out the form. We know the form is now easier, it's faster, and you get a quicker response back so that you can help make your decisions about what you're going to do for education. I also want to mention that that's not where the process stops. Right? So as you're filling out the FAFSA form, at UW Green Bay, we have staff that are available to not only help you through that process, to help you fill out the form, but also once you're accepted to any UW school, there are staff that are available to help you all along your journey in financial aid and otherwise, to make sure that you're able to make sure you're capitalizing on your investment. Right? This is really, really important, that's part of what we provide for students, is to make sure that once they have their financial package from the federal government or other places, they're able to use it in the best way to make sure that they're using it to advance their careers through education. So really, again, happy to be with you today. It's my pleasure now to introduce Katie Liddicoat, who is the District Counseling Coordinator for the Green Bay Area Public Schools.
Thank you, Chancellor Alexander. What I'd like to share is that the FAFSA really does open doors. It reveals opportunities and reduces barriers for our students who are looking to access post-secondary education. And really, it ultimately does assist them in just reaching any of those individual career and life goals that we're helping them to start setting for themselves while they're here in high school. Our school counselors, career center coordinators, and career coaches work together in collaborating on ways to provide students and their families with updated information about the FAFSA. We host FSA ID days, evenings for students and families come together and complete and submit their FAFSA. And then we also do provide that individualized support during the day by appointment, just whatever we can do. Our team really wants to make sure that we are helping as many people as possible to complete that process. Green Bay Public Schools will be again hosting FAFSA completion events this fall and winter. That is again partnership between our staff that are here in the buildings day to day and numerous community partners that we are privileged to work with. So please do watch our district social media and our school sites if you're looking for further information, if you'd like to attend any of those events. And obviously, if you do have any questions, please feel free to connect directly with any members of our school teams for assistance. I would like to just reiterate what's already been shared, that we really do encourage any and all students and families to complete the FAFSA. There are so many benefits that you could be eligible for, and a lot of those that really go unknown. The FAFSA truly is a way to just see all of the opportunities that might be available, which we know for a lot of our students can help with finalizing some of those post-secondary plans. Once they know all their choices, then they can make that informed decision. So I would like to say thank you to our community partners for their continued support as we approach this process for this year. And at this time, I would like to pass it to Ross Tellner, who is a counselor from De Pere High School.
Thanks. I'll be honest, I look a little bit different with the red on compared to everybody else. So, thank you again for Green Bay School District for having me. I just really wanted to echo a lot of what these four amazing people have said to you. Just as we go through the University of Wisconsin and their accessibility to students, as we go through the learning process of not only just applying to colleges, but also to go through the FAFSA is pretty amazing. As a counselor for a high school, I don't know all of the answers, and if I pick up the phone and I call a UWGB or any of the UW schools, they easily come and pick up the phone and they can answer those for us. They can do that with not only myself as a counselor, but they do it for parents and they do it for students as well. And they really do care about what our students have and what they want. Just this summer, we had a opportunity to have seniors come in at De Pere High School, and a financial aid advisor for UWGB came in, Callan Diamond, and she talked to our students about financial aid and the looks on students' faces when they found out that they could get free money. And they didn't understand what that meant, and that the application was completely free, and how easy it was. For any parent that's out there that had to do this when you were going through school, just know that this process has went from 5 hours to 45 minutes sometimes. And there's some great opportunities out there, like College Goal Wisconsin and many others, that allow students and parents to be able to go through this process quickly. So again, thank you to all four of you and to all of you out there that gave us this opportunity to just talk about this. If you have any questions, I'm probably not the one to ask. These four people are.
Thanks, Ross, and that's the easiest way to get the first question. Thank you. I just wanted to express, again, my thanks. I think you see the educators here and the work that they do and the care that they have for hoping that, to helping their high school students go on to whatever path is best for them. And I think you can hear the care and the compassion and the desire to see those students be successful in whatever they choose to do in their life. So it's inspiring to be here and to be able to see that in action. So with that, why don't we open it up to any questions that you may have?
Are you guys anticipating any challenges because of the government shutdown or the cuts to the Department of Education with FAFSA this year?
As it relates to FAFSA, just before the government shut down, the Department of Education issued a memorandum indicating that the FAFSA process was going to continue. And so we have not had those experiences as a result of the shutdown, and the last statistics that were available nationally, is that this was one of the best starts to the FAFSA application process ever. So we are excited about that. I think students are taking this seriously, that this is the next logical step in the progression, as you've heard from everybody up here, to have access to federal financial aid and other aid as well.
This is for President Rothman. In the lacrosse, I think you were in lacrosse not that long ago, and you mentioned that Wisconsin's not producing enough graduates to meet the needs of our state. Do you have any reasons as to why that might be?
I think part of it is we need to be educating more people in our state across the board. And right now, at least for four-year degree people, we're not producing. You know, you can go through the list, engineers and nurses and teachers and data scientists, and that list goes on. And the great employers of our state are creating more jobs than we are filling right now. And that's not a good thing for Wisconsin, because if those jobs are not filled in this state, they will go elsewhere. And once they leave, they're not coming back. So it's really critical that we continue to focus on that. That's what we do at the universities of Wisconsin. Our mission is to serve the state of Wisconsin, and we are doing everything we can to increase the enrollment in our schools so that we can help Wisconsin win the war for talent.
My next question, this is for anyone who can answer this. Speaking of increasing enrollment, the Direct Admit Wisconsin program looks like it started with 2025. If you could talk about what brought about the need for this program.
Well, I think, as I mentioned earlier, UW Green Bay under Chancellor Alexander's leadership was the first one that really pushed this. And Mike came to us and said, "Are you okay if we pilot this in Green Bay?" And we said yes. And when we saw the success from that, we took it out, and any of our universities could participate. We had 10 of our universities that are currently participating in Direct Admit Wisconsin. And to give you some sense, we went from 24,000 people or thereabouts that got Direct Admit offers a year ago to 34,000 plus earlier this year. And so, and we have we had substantial growth in our freshman class this year across the universities of Wisconsin, a 3% increase in the number of freshmen. The only thing that you can attribute that to, the only thing that was different, was Direct Admit Wisconsin. So we are very, very pleased about that program. I am thankful to Chancellor Alexander for having the foresight and the innovative spirit to try it here and make sure we could prove the concept. And we now have 467 high schools in the state that are participating, and we are grateful for that.
For either President Rothman or Mike, either one of you guys, I know that UW-Madison recently put into place the CSS alongside the FAFSA. Is that something that UW-Green Bay would be looking at instituting, or is it just the FAFSA this year?
Say one more time, the CSS.
The CSS, I can't remember what it stands for, but it's kind of an addition to the FAFSA for financial aid, from what I understand.
It is a program. What happened when FAFSA was simplified, which I think is a good idea, so you heard 30 to 45 minutes to complete it. There is some information that the universities think they need in addition, and what Madison has done is they are doing this additional program so they can target and apply the dollars as tightly as they can to help as many students as they can. So those that have the greatest need, the dollars are going to be tried to be surgically targeted to those students. So it is an additional step, but it is a step that in the end we think benefits all of the students because it gets the resources to where they are really needed. To my knowledge, Madison is the only one of the 13 universities that are in that program and requiring that additional step.
Is there different messaging for, that you're giving to students now compared to the past to fill out FAFSA and encouraging them to go to college and to try and boost enrollment?
I mean, I think, and I'll let Chancellor Alexander also comment to that, and anyone else, quite frankly, that our message has been the same, that FAFSA for a long time has been that critical next step in determining the opportunity to get federal financial aid, and also understand that this is what the universities use as well in terms of some of the aid that they provide, and it's also some merit-based aid that needs that form to be completed. So it's a broad-based piece. So it has always been an impetus, I think, across our high schools and across our universities to encourage students to complete it. So this isn't anything particularly new from that standpoint, but it is important that we emphasize it because we have a new class every single year, and a lot of folks are going through this for the first time, and we want them to know that this is available for them.
And is more counseling being offered to students at all to, you know, to try and, you know, talk more about the money and the cost of college and everything like that?
Yeah, I'll take that one.
Yep, okay, I'll slide out of the way here.
Yeah, so we are really talking with our students about, before you say no to going to college because you might not have the money, try to fill out the FAFSA because you don't know what you might get. And really kind of pushing that, and then once you have that dollar amount, you can make that informed decision about whether or not it is still a financial option for you and your family. So we are raising the bar, so to say, in our game to get that message out earlier to our students and their families with a series of different events that we'll be hosting here at Southwest, as I know the other high schools are as well here in Green Bay, as well as the larger metro area. So we are really pushing that, hey, just try to fill it out.
Sorry, this is backtracking a little bit, but of the 24,000 last year and the 34,000 this year, how many students are accepting that direct admit? Is it a large number? Is it all of them?
It is, because it's always hard to tell if they would have done the normal application process, but I think the fact that our freshman class across the universities of Wisconsin is up 3%, and of the eight of our universities was up more than 5% in new freshman enrollment. So it has to be driving something. And I think this is interrelated because direct admit, at least it tells the student that we believe that they can be successful at one of our universities. And then they get the opportunity to talk to financial aid officers. And oftentimes you hear, because I think the rhetoric is that, you know, college is too expensive. We are the best value of any public university system in the Midwest and beyond. So we think we have a great edge and a great value that we provide students. And I think you'll hear stories about, I didn't think I'd be able to afford this, but then I found out what was available in terms of aid, and I can. And that direct admit helps us start that conversation, so there are real values, I think, to that. But let me have Chancellor Alexander speak to it as well, because he is our resident expert in this space.
What? Oh, were you gonna add on more to that?
I'd maybe just say one thing quickly. Just I think in modern education, it's really important that you think about friction. Okay, and we talk about it at UW Green Bay, and I know we're talking about it at the University of Wisconsin, everywhere. It's about how do you remove the friction so that the student gets to what they want, which is the education, right? And this is the key in the modern world, right? You have to remove all the steps that feel like impediments to get where they're sitting in a classroom and learning. And you have to remove those as fast as possible, right? And this is why the new FAFSA is so important. It's why all the things we're talking about today, about why this is important to go out and talk to the public about it. It is easier now, for sure. And that's what we're all set up to do, is to make sure that that friction, there's less and less friction to go directly from high school into anything beyond high school.
You know, one of my coworkers, her daughter's in her freshman year at UW-Milwaukee, and she had said, you know, we filled out the FAFSA. She didn't have any complaints about that. The funding, though, they got a relatively low amount. I think it was $2,000. And so she was just, I know it goes by money, but she's, you know, not exorbitantly wealthy. Neither is her husband. So she was just wondering why that amount was so low versus, you know, I don't know, someone else who gets like the Pell Grant.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
just really quickly, I think it's important that every university has ways that they could package beyond the federal financial that you get, right? So it's not one thing. It's also really important. We talk about FAFSA. FAFSA is the first step, I think someone mentioned, to unlock all those other opportunities that are possible once you fill out the FAFSA, right? Because there's all kinds of other sources of money that are also need-based.
And I will just add to that, statistically across the universities of Wisconsin, last year there was about $1.5 billion of aid that students got. $1 billion of that related to federal grants, federal loans, work-study programs. Another $500 million came directly from our universities. So it is that full package that puts together. The federal piece will give you a piece of it, but then the universities can help fill that as well. And that's what our great financial officers across our 13 universities work on every single day, because it's individual by individual to help that student have that experience that will change the trajectory of their lives. And that's why they are so passionate about what they do. It's why we are passionate about what we do, because we can help our students take that next step that allows them to do whatever they want to do in their lives. And it's that kind of unlimited opportunity that we think our universities provide, and it starts in the K through 12 system, and it goes through all of the work that we do, and then when they get out on their own. But I always look at our students and say they're gonna do great things, and they do, which is a really neat thing about the opportunity that we have to help them do precisely that. Any other questions? If not, thank you all very much for being here. Principal Whistler, thank you for hosting us. We very much appreciate that, and thank you for our guidance counselors and folks that really help students take that next step. So thank you very much.
I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
we do have one.
I don't know if it's important or not, but can more than one university of the 10 that do the direct admit give an acceptance to one student? Yes? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you, under
So
direct
all
admit,
10?
you could get 10, you could get 10 acceptances in essence.
Will
And
you
that,
let
which
us know?
allows then the student to make a choice, but allows us to enter into the conversation with them about, because each of our universities is distinct, each of them bring something different. And we want our students to find the university that is the best fit for them, because that's where they're gonna be successful. Great, thank you very much, appreciate you being here today.